Okay, this is game two. I'm actually going to send you this video first because I want to try something new. What I want you to do when I pause the video and we're looking at the map before, so you can either do two things. I'll take like a 2 seconds and not talk. I want you to pause the video and I want you to think about now you're in, try not to use too much hindsight because you know where everyone's at, but look at where you're at, look at the map, and try to justify and talk to yourself and be like, where should I be here? What are my options? And kind of talk your way through it. Then restart the video and see what I say. So now that you're not under fire, you're not in the game, there's not a lot of talking. Sit here and think, where are my options? Where's the weak spots? Where's a good spot for me to go? Let's try that. And let's try that. Okay, so game two. Game two. 16, 52, game two. Okay, game two. So you guys are deciding to ride it all the way out. You have a team here. I forget where they go. They go to Sandbox / Cemetery. So here's the one thing I'll say about this move. When you take the long road all the way out to Kingdom from here, you have to be careful. And I think you kind of mentioned it a little bit, like, we got to be careful, guys. And the reason being is that if the platform is over on Cemetery side, that means the other platform is over by the saloon. And a lot of people do that hot drop right there. They drop to the train or they just straight fly to Kingdom. They drop down right over by the Wizard Tower and all that stuff. And so sometimes they're already on the ground, they're already looting up, and you guys come in here, everyone's spread out trying to loot, and you can get mowed over, or you just lose a couple people and now you're on the run. Not a great way to start a game. You just have to be aware. You need to be looking over and seeing if there's pods there. And if there's pods there, you assume they hot drop. And so it's really challenging here because you really got to get out of Kingdom. Or not so much out of Kingdom, but you have to loot and you have to head over towards the Wizard Tower wall ASAP and make sure they're not coming this way. Because if they are coming this way, you got to get out of there. They're going to have 3 times more time for loot. They're going to be more bullets, more everything. They're going to be ready to fight, and you guys will not be. You need to then book it out to planes and get out of there. So it can be a little risky. It's just a really popular hot drop area, and most everyone roams towards Kingdom. They just do. I don't know what it is. They don't go towards the saloon often. When they do go towards the saloon, it's when the pods are coming out towards the 9s, kind of this direction, that you get your hot drop to the saloon. But typically when it's over the train station, they go either train station or they go like just immediately towards Kingdom. That's typically what they do. I'd say like a third of the time. So you just really have to be aware of that you're coming in late. There's a possibility enemies are on the left, and kind of running from there. Okay, so let's let this play here real quick. So that's what I would be aware of. I'd just be aware that there may be people coming directly from here over to here. And so you just really got to get some eyes out on that if you're going to stick it out in Kingdom. 1652. So you guys are going to come out here. Let's see. Boom. Okay, so here's where we're at. The zone closed. We know for sure a team went Cemetery, Sandbox. Ain't no way they're going over to this area. They just don't. No one does this, especially if half their team's in Cemetery and half they're in Sandbox. They're not pushing this way. The zone's here. They're coming down towards Tower. If they did go Defiance area here, they're coming down towards Tower. Highly unlikely they're here, but even if they are, you guys have a piece of zone. You got walls. This is such a hard area to get into. There's open space here. You guys are good. But so what happened is they went down towards Tower. I'm almost positive. The problem is that nobody came from Frontier towards you, which is good because it gave you time to loot up and get all your stuff. But now there's no fight for you. There's nobody around. There's no one to fight. And so everyone's standing around like, we got to get into a fight. Do we have to go somewhere? I don't know. You could debate. You don't. You have zone. You got stuff. And you don't want to give up your corner, your little slice there. But you also need to be fighting if everyone's fighting. So you need to be looking carefully for opportunities to get in behind somebody. There's going to be people here. If they're not at Frontier, then they all went to either back up, and like usually there's always one team or two teams that go back over here and are stuck here. But sometimes you have a team that did drop and they chose to go farmlands or right over by that kind of farmland / that red barn. That's a really popular kind of move, just kind of moving into the middle. So if I were you and I was here, I might push just kind of out into plains a little bit and just kind of get that high ground and kind of see if there's a team here trying to make their way this way. No one's at Kingdom. No one's at Frontier. So you have this whole area of safety behind you, and you can kind of pop out into plains, and if things don't go well and someone's over in farmlands or something, start shooting it this way, you can just pop back over to Kingdom and hit them at this diagonal here, because you have the wall, you have all this good stuff, and there's open space here that they really don't like to cross. And hopefully then you have people coming out of this area, foothills area, and now they're sandwiching farmlands in this area. So I wouldn't wander out too far. I just go to plains. I think you guys choose to go all the way over the red barn. I think that's a little overreach. I think it's a tiny bit of overreach. Not knowing where anybody is. I mean, it is possible people are up here still looting and they're just taking their sweet time. And then if they rotate in behind you, so I would just kind of pop out here and kind of get a lay of the land there. That's what I would do. So let's go to 1701. You guys kind of hang out and you're like, well, the zone's going to close. We don't have to do anything. I like that move, especially if it's early on in the match, which it is. It's only game 2. You need to play a little bit more conservative so you can make sure that you don't get too behind in points. Again, I think most of the kills happen at the end of the game, so you need to make it to the end of the game. And if you have position at the end of the game, it's usually just a bloodbath of people running out of zone. So that's the goal. Okay, so 1702 here is when we get our closeout. Oh, I just missed it. 1702, right? We'll just let it play. So you notice you're good about the clock and knowing how much time before we get the... So they said there's an enemy back here. Okay, so that's exactly what happened. They came down from Sandbox to Kingdom towards the tower. They decided they didn't want to go into tower, and now they're out here. This is not a problem for you, but it's interesting they didn't draw the white box yet. But you need to address that. Everyone needs to come back to the wall and hold this wall and hold them out. That's what needs to happen. So everyone needs to rotate over and keep them in plains. This is your neck of the woods. You can always go to the right if you need to, because unlikely someone's in Frontier. But you do not want them coming into Kingdom and you guys wander out here, because now they have that nice corner on you. So let's see what happens here. Okay, it's closing, and boom, there you go. So now they're outside of zone. You guys even have a piece of Kingdom here, and no one's on Frontier. If you guys hold this wall, you're going to force them back into this plain / tower area. That's the way you want to force them. Again, you assume there's a team coming here to foothills. That's going to make them run into there. You have all this safe space back here, and you still have another area you can go. I think you were like, let's get to the far corner or something. I don't like that. I want to stay right here. Kingdom Wall is a great spot. Lots of open areas. You're just free for all, just hitting them and force them into plains. And if they wander back towards tower, you can even then overextend a little bit, because there's some high stuff here and you can keep shooting them. And the action's going to be stuffed back in here, because this team probably rotated that way. This team's rotating this way. And now this team's going to be forced back towards the tower. And you guys just have this area here. So I think the overreach here is going this way. You're looking for safety, and safety is not the move here. It's you're thinking, I want to get safely over here. There is nobody over here. That's what I want to do. But you have such an advantage here on this wall that you need to defend it. You can't always just run to the safe spot. You have a safe spot here. There's lots of area this can rotate back to. You want to force them out into plains. This is a fight you have to take. You need to hold this wall. You need to punish them. It's going to push them over. There's not as much hard cover here. You have the advantage on having Kingdom Wall. So this is a fight. We do not run from this fight. We are going to hold this wall, and that's the way it's going to be. But we're running here. All right. Real quick, that gun loadout, I do not like. Let me see if I can capture it real quick. Give me the gun loadout. In fact, even you standing over here is not a great idea. You knew there was nobody over here after you peeked it. You should have gone back up to that front wall and kind of been like, okay, no one's over here. Let's go check the front. Remember I said I would kind of wander out into plains if I felt comfortable. If it was just like quiet, I would just kind of maybe wander out there. And if it got a little hairy, I'd head back to the wall, knowing that nobody was over here. Let me see if I can get your guns loadout here. No, you're going to do it right now. There it is. Oh, man. You're too quick. Okay. Full backpacks. Problem here, you're still carrying your knife. You don't need your knife. You're not going to do anything with it. And you have no heals. You have no banana. I carry banana. You can carry red sodas. Either way, you got to carry some sort of banana in case you got to get into storm. It's going to bite you in the butt. A couple of these games, you're not going to have a banana. I just don't know that there's a way to not carry a banana. You don't need 6 shield shakers. Easily a banana would fit here. Another option here too is you kind of have 2 medium long range guns. I know UMP is not great long range, but you shoot people longer range with it. AK purple, I would just drop the UMP, keep the AK, put it here, and carry a shotgun and a banana if that's the way you want to roll. You can still, these guns are just the same. Like they're the same class of gun. You know, I don't like this. The UMP's not great up close. It's not great real far. It's just kind of in the middle. The AK can shoot far. It can shoot pretty decent close, but it's not gonna replace a shotgun, you know, or Tech 9 or something. A P90. I would even be like, if you want to carry a P90 and an AK, fine. You know, that would work. But you still need a banana here. We still need a banana, and honestly, probably drop one of these for like a harm or a grenade or something. You just don't need 6 shield shakers. I know you're looking for an op, so knowing that, I would just drop this down here to either a shotgun, P90, and Tech 9. Not in this spot. I'm just saying you need that spot. Get rid of that. Keep the AK, and then grab a zone nade or regular nades until you find your op, which you know you'll put there. And again, a banana. You need a banana. You can't. A banana or sodas. Banana ideal. So let's go up to 1813. 1813 right here. Okay, this is the next area. You guys rotated over here. That means the enemy is somewhere over here. And you're going to find out everyone is tucked in here. And now you're sandwiched in between all of these people here. And this is where it just gets, nobody knows where to go. There's a team this way. You let them have that position. You shouldn't have. And then now there's going to be a team that rotates in kind of the farmlands behind you, the lower farmlands, and now you're kind of stuck in between. So what are the options here? Kind of just dig in on this red barn. That's probably what I would do. You guys, I think it moves here. Let's go 1902. 1902. But you guys are just kind of, everyone's kind of spread out again. Nobody really knows what's going on. 1902. So, yeah. So now you're kind of in between 2 teams. Here's the next closure. And now you have a team here. You have a team in farmlands going to take this corner. And now you got to get into this. You guys are close. The problem with this square here is that you have a road here, and you have a little bit high ground. I don't know if it contains any area that's safe for somebody to be. It's hard to tell from here. It might include some of the hill or that bottom little building down there or the crosswalk. You can kind of hide in that crosswalk area. So you got to assume a team is going to be able to survive in this corner here. And then this corner is also suspect. There's some hills in here. There's some crosswalk, those crosswalk things. But you're going to be fighting for this spot. And honestly, the first person here might be in the worst position because there's no way to defend. That looks like the barn right there. There's no walls. I don't know. It's going to be hard here, especially if there's a team in tower. This little wall right here, you're just going to be standing out in the open with a team rushing in. This one's shooting you. This is just not a great spot. If we knew there wasn't a team here, we'd be getting probably this corner. Yeah, just not a. This is just not ideal. It's just turning from worse to bad to worse, and I think that's what happens here. And now you're fighting too. Like you got to move. We got to make decisions. You already got your team rotating, which is good. We got to move. What happens here? Yeah, there's a spot right there. You got a piece of the barn. I would probably just post up here and just kind of try to live. This is also in play. There's hardcover here. And just kind of figure out who can get into, up here or down here. You guys got to move into some hardcover. What you don't do is you don't move fast enough. They're still stuck here shooting this team. They need to move. There's no reason to be fighting right here. We got to get over to the right because as they're shooting, they're moving to your right, and now you got teams behind you. You need that hard cover. Got to get in. I think it's Quill down here. Quill's in a good spot. I don't know who the hell's way over there. Maybe that's just a marker. But you guys staying here, you allow them to run over and get. I think right in here is where they end up. Yeah, and now you guys are just like, damn it. I think that's what happens here. Yeah, just taking too long to decide here, and now you're in zone, and now you can't see really well. You're on the run. It's just no banana. You're shopping and you have no banana and 25 health. You gotta let some stuff go. But here you get in the barn, so we're good. Made it to safety. All right, what's our next one? 1902. 1902. Yeah. I'm not sure I picked up where the next one. So there's a team there. Here's the thing. There's going to be a team shooting you from the right. This thing provides pretty good protection here. And you have that team on the left. You guys do a good job of grabbing these rocks here. So you have, if you have a team on the left or right and a team on the left, I'm almost thinking you push through instead of stopping here and doing what you're doing and then forcing that team out and trying to hold and create hard cover that you don't have. You're trying to create hard cover, and they're going to get punished you for it. They're going to get up on that sign. I think I would just push through to construction right there and grab that construction spot because you're going to start getting shot from behind. And this team is hurting here. Now you guys move over to construction, but now they're going to be down there. This other team's shooting you. You're just the guys running out of zone now. And it sucks. Zone did move away from you. Kind of happens sometimes. But here you are. You're trying to give him stuff. He doesn't take it. You need to keep running. You don't even go back for it. You have no banana. You're at half health, and it's ticking, and it's a shield shaker. And you just gotta be like, damn it, you gotta run. And I don't think you make it. Yeah, you don't make it. He gives you a res. He's telling you he's gonna drop a gun here, and you leave without getting a gun. and you're still in zone. They're gonna be waiting over here. You have no way to even shoot at them. I don't like that move. I would either if there's multiple of you down there and you're like, I'm not going to get a gun, then I would head the other direction. I would head down the street towards those little platforms down there where they have stuff and grab something there. Or at the very least, I like what you do here. You come across the top for protection. This is the only way to get across the street. Everyone who didn't do this is in the wrong. This is the right way to do it, although you missed there. From here, you don't have a gun and you're going to try to make it. There's no way there's not going to be people here just staring at you. However, right down here, right down there on the bottom of this hill, there is a little shack right here, and there will probably be some kind of weapon there. Maybe there's like a revolver and like a banana. Who knows? Maybe if that's the case, if there's some kind of heals, maybe you can get around over towards Summit. I don't know, but you just fly out in the open. You don't even look in that little quadrant there. And as soon as you saw that right there, I'd be like, we're screwed. But as soon as I see this right here, the white line crosses over you, heading backwards, you know that zone is moving in the direction behind you now. Here it comes. So zone is moving behind you. You just got lucked out, right? You should be turning around right now, or maybe you're trying to touch the zone. I don't know. I would touch that corner so that you were in zone for that moment. And then I would be like, somebody come to me. We're getting zone. We need to start a chain res back behind us. And maybe you survive and have guns behind you and you're in a building or something like that. But trying to fly all the way into the, I think this is unreasonable. Everybody's over here and they're just waiting. I would have like touched the corner of zone maybe, or not even, I don't know. And then you should just go back and chain res with Chase and kind of head this direction, waiting for zone to come to you. He needs to run. You guys need to go to the right. And they just come and finish you. It's a last team, so I don't know that there's much you could do there.